Good afternoon, guys. It's Working, bringing you a quick update on EOS. We're going to be looking at EOS and Ethereum. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. We're looking at EOS to the US dollar, 4-hour chart on Bitfinex. And EOS clearly, obviously, broke down, followed Bitcoin right back down. But if we're looking at the larger wedge that price has been in, we can see that it's respecting that wedge extremely well. We can see price came up, hit perfectly, double tap on this descending resistance line here, and then it just completely broke right back down. Also, we were watching this kind of wedge within a wedge. We had this ascending support line here, reached the apex of that wedge, and of course we were expecting, as I told you guys on my last EOS update, we were expecting that major move in that area. Of course we did get this, but price maintained within this larger wedge. Not only maintained itself within the larger wedge, price collapsed, came down, tested the bottom of this ascending support line, again of this larger wedge, also validating that larger wedge. So we've had three major tests, 1, 2, 3. That in my book significantly validates this ascending support line here, this wedge pattern here. So all eyes are going to be on the apex of this for the next couple weeks. All eyes are going to be watching this zone right here in the next few weeks, and we would expect in this area a major move either up or down. And when I say a major move, I don't mean a move like this. I mean in this area here, if price doesn't just fall out of here and if we just continue to get compressed within this zone and stays within this wedge, I would expect a market changing move somewhere in this area, a major move up, major move down. If it does end up breaking down, what are we going to be watching for? Let me kind of zoom in here, guys. If it does end up breaking down, guys, of course, they're going to be watching this 426, 496. That's an extremely relevant zone, guys. If it does break below that, then we're going to be watching 473 to 467. We can see prices reversed in that 473 to 467 zone many times in the past, and every time it's had a nice, very significant bounce each time. So of course, be watching this. If 467 breaks down, guys, I don't think that 450 and 428, even though both of those zones have acted as support in the past, very briefly, I do think those are very weak supports, and if that does end up breaking down, that means that we had a very impulsive breakdown out of this wedge here, and if it doesn't reverse course right here, this is where I'd be watching for a bear trap. In other words, a breakdown, trapping people into short positions, and then a reversal. If it breaks below 450, 467, then I don't believe that would be a bear trap. I think we'd be coming to much lower prices, and as I told you guys in the past, if you watch my videos for the last few months, or for the last month or so, I should say, this area down here between $4 and $3.50, this is where I've laddered in a lot of buy orders, or down here, guys. This is a must-buy area down here if price ever does get down there. I'm not saying it's going to. I'm just saying that if it does, you want to have fiat on the side to be able to take advantage of that very low price if it does get there. And if 467 breaks, you could find yourself down at $4 to $3.50 very quickly. Doesn't mean it's going to get down there. Don't mean to spread any FUD, guys. Just mean I want you to have a game plan in your head in case price does end up breaking down of what you're going to do with your fiat. Now, I told you if price broke down that we would expect price to find support between 526 and this and 496, or possibly the ascending support line. When it broke down, we did find support right on top of 526 for about 10 hours or so. Consolidated right on top of there. That was the first hit, and then that broke down. Where did it hit? Perfectly right off that ascending support line. So again, we're seeing a lot of there's a lot of structure in this market, and it is obeying that. With price did end up breaking down, 526 has been a very relevant support. Anytime we break support, what do we expect? We expect that support to act as resistance. Sure enough, price came back down, tested 526. 526 is acting as resistance now. Now, that means, in the fact that we didn't get a strong, it's been acting as resistance now and being tested for about 12 hours, and it hasn't broken down. So that's either we're going to expect to break above 526. If we do break above 526, I expect it to quickly rise to this area right here at about 557, somewhere thereabouts. It's been a relevant zone there in the past. If it does break down, I expect a retesting of this ascending support line here, possibly a nice little bounce right back up off of there, possibly kind of a double bottom, or possibly breaking out of this wedge. And if it does break out of this wedge, guys, we're going to be watching 496. 496 is extremely relevant. Why do I say that? I say that because and I've showed you guys this in the past. It's just been a while since I've showed you this 496 on the weekly chart here. We can see it's closed at or above. The body has closed at or above 496 6 weeks in a row right here, and then finally we broke up and broke that pattern. But if this weekly candle comes down and closes below 496 on the weekly, Now we've got a few days left. I'm just again looking ahead. If price breaks below this wedge, and if the weekly candle closes below 496, it's going to be an extremely bearish sign, guys. And I'm not talking about a wick. We can wick below it all the time. Or all day long. That's no problem. But if the body of the weekly closes below 496, that'd be an extremely bearish sign, guys. And at that point, I think we're going to be quickly creating or quickly crashing below the support line, this support zone here, and again possibly testing as low as that $4 to $3.50 range. Doesn't mean it's going to, just mean it's going to become a real possibility if that weekly candle does close that low. Coming back out here to the daily, looking at our indicators, we can see that the MACD just broke bear in the last couple days, or last 2 days here. Obviously just broke bear. We can see the MACD and signal line obviously crossing. Doesn't mean that it has to continue, just means for now it's looking rather bearish. Looking at the daily RSI, obviously broke this ascending support line, came back down. The only thing bullish I can see about this, guys, is we did come back down and create almost a perfect double bottom right here. You can see price came back down, almost didn't quite make it, but almost a perfect double bottom, which means we would expect a reversal. Not only saw that with the RSI, we also saw that with price. Had a little wick right here, came back down, perfect little wick right here, double bottom. Let's see if we can get that follow through. Again, doesn't mean the fact that 526 is acting as resistance right now is a rather bearish sign. So let's see if we can break above 526. If we can break above 526, guys, I'll start to get cautiously optimistic. Of course, we're going to be watching this zone for a possible backing up, testing this top of this wedge, and then just falling right back down. If you're a day trader, obviously you're buying this resistance, you're selling this, or excuse me, buying the support, you're selling the resistance, and this would be a very logical play. If you're looking at going long, if you want to start dollar cost averaging into a position now, not a bad idea if you're planning on holding for a year or two, something like that. Obviously not a bad idea. Just have fiat on the side just in case this thing does collapse. It could get ugly very quickly, and you want to make sure you have fiat available to take advantage of these much lower prices. If it never does get there and you didn't buy all and you didn't go in all in right here, as I said yesterday in my Bitcoin update, that's not a problem, guys. Just because you didn't catch the bottom doesn't mean that you lost. Remember, guys, you don't always have to win every single trade. You just have to have the money to be able to take advantage of opportunities in the future, and there will be plenty of opportunity in the future. All right, looking at our moving averages, we can see price just fell right through all our moving average, 821 55-day EMA, and the 50-day moving average just crashed right below them all. Now, oftentimes when you see that, especially when you have the moving averages structured the way that this is, with the 8-day on top, 21 in the middle, usually, guys, when this does happen, you can see you find some support kind of acts like a rubber band. Price ends up breaking down and then just kind of shooting right back up. So I am hopefully we're gonna see some kind of support down here. Hopefully we get kind of a slingshot where price kind of acts like, where this acts kind of like a rubber band, gets stretched and then just pushes right back up. Doesn't mean that has to happen, just means that often does happen when you see a setup like this, and we're going to be keeping an eye on that to see if it does. Looking at EOS shorts. Shorts are still rather stacked, even though we haven't had much of an effect over the last day or two. Obviously today they're stacking a little bit, not too significant, but still stacked rather high. Looking at longs, longs are falling off the board here, at least in the last 2 days they have. Again, not real significant, just a decent drop yesterday. Today kind of moving sideways, so nothing real significant with longs or shorts on. No major move with longs or shorts, guys, so nothing too significant there. So anyway, guys, I'm not going to have time to get to Ethereum. I've got to run out the door. I'm getting a phone call from my better half here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it here, guys. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. As always, I would appreciate an upvote if you have enjoyed this content. Until next time, guys, please trade safe. Take care of yourselves. This is Working, signing out.